Okay, people. So, you may have gone to see this today, or you may have wondered, oh, should I? So yeah, I'm gonna give you a little something on C for me. Right? This is it's a new Canadian piece, and it's the second, I believe it's the second feature film from Randall Okita. Right? It is written by Adam Yorke and Tommy Gushue. It's produced by Matt Code and Christy Neville. Cinematography is Jordan Orman and Jackson Perel. Yeah, Perel. Edited by James Vadwater. Music is Joseph Murray and Ludwig Voss. It's from Wilding Pictures. And our cast, people, as you know, it's got a good cast, right? We have Skylar Davenport, she plays Sophie. Jessica Parker Kennedy plays Kelly. We've got Laura Vandervoort, who plays Debbie. Kim Coates plays Rico. Matthew Guavia is a cab driver. Keaton Kaplan is Cam. Pascal Langdow is Ernie. Emily Pigford, she plays a police lady. Deputy Brooks. Joe Pingu plays Dave. George um, George Chick Truv plays Otis. Um, yeah, I think that's our main group of people. Although I will say her mum's doesn't get a mention, which is yeah, her mum's doesn't get a mention. That's it's a little cold. That is a little cold. But the gist of the film is it's this. After a skiing accident that has left her blind, Sophie clings to her independence and makes a living as a house sitter, an income she supplements with a little petty thievery. When her FaceTime, and I'd say a little petty, it's not really, right? It's not really. When her FaceTime accomplice refuses to enable her stealing, and I think it's more than a FaceTime, I think it's like a good friend from her skiing days. But again, yeah, he refuses to enable her stealing. Sophie turns to an online app, See for Me. That's how she meets Kelly, a gamer girl and former soldier. Initially, Kelly comes in handy when Sophie accidentally locks herself out, but she proves even more useful when a gang of professional burglars breaks in during the night. There are shades of just creepiness up in this, right? But now I'm going to I guess the way I'm going to talk about this, you have to understand, right? Because I feel if you made a film about golf and you had someone like using a giant wooden spoon, right? Golfers would just be like, yo, what the? You can't do that, right? What are they doing? That makes no sense. You know what I mean? Or they were using different sized balls, or just you know what I mean, just stuff that's like makes no sense. You'd be a little bit frustrated, and it wouldn't it wouldn't allow you maybe to inhabit the film as other people might inhabit the film. Now, this film has nothing to do with golf, right? But as I see, the girl in it, Sophie, she's blind. And Skylar Davenport is actually visually impaired. So, and even if she wasn't, I don't necessarily have any issue with that. The thing that bugged me was just the whole depiction of her blindness, right? Because I guess the film starts. Let's just say that the film starts, and you have a girl pulling down. It's a close up on her eyes, and then we have her like pull down the visor. Then it kind of pulls back, and you see a girl sitting there. She's packing, and you've got skiing on the TV, right? So I think as she gets up, you realize, oh, yeah, she's blind, right? And she's trying to get out of her house, but her mum is just like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Blah blah blah. And she there's this whole dialogue with her and her mum, and it's this whole big thing. But I think just straight out the gate, the way she moves, right? She's walking like, and you're gonna think this is stupid. She doesn't know what's there. Which, yes, she's blind. Well, I mean, I think in this she says she can see shade, right? But which this is the thing. When people are often blind, it doesn't necessarily there's nothing, right? There's not. I think the percentage of people where it's just completely black, I think that's a rare thing. So a lot of times there's you might be able to differentiate um colors, or just the difference of, oh, there's something dark or there's something light, but you can't actually see the color, or there's a shade, or you can see kind of blurs, you know what I mean? So that's her thing. There's a kind of a blur. But so when I say she's walking light, she can't see what's there. Obviously, she can't see what's there. But this is the thing: when you're in your own space, there is a confidence because you know what's there. Now, hey, you definitely bump into things, right? I still will bruise the fuck out of myself. Right. And so you forget. There's sometimes you know what I mean? Like you get up in the middle of the night, go to use the bathroom, and you've walked into the corner of the bed. And then a couple of days later, you kind of look down, or it'd be like, oh, what's my leg hurt? And then you realize you got a huge ass bruise on your leg. You're like, what the fuck happened? How did that happen? Or the amount of times I have fucked up my feet where I've completely, there's no depth perception. So I've, just kicked things hard with like no shoes on. And you just like, oh, you just like break toenails, bleeding. And it's just crazy. But I know where I place things around the house. So I will walk around a lot freer than when I'm in public, right? Because you don't know what's there, or in the office. And that's the thing, which you're telling people, yo, can we keep the channels clear? You mean no boxes in the way? Can we just do that? Right? Like do whatever else, but can we just keep the channels clear? So it was weird that she's in her own house, and she's doing things in a certain way. So at the beginning you do wonder what the time frame is, but later on, right, there is a reference to 4 years. And if it was at the beginning she just lost her sight, right, then you'd be like, yeah, that makes all the sense. But 4 years, it's a weird one. And especially the way her mum is, and she's a cunt. Let's just say Sophie is not nice. She's an irritating asshole. And I've got to say, if I was Kelly, I'd let her die. I'd let her die. I don't care. She ain't likable. But she has a certain attitude of, you've just lost a sight and you're frustrated, which boom, I get. But at that point, at the 4-year point, now there is a frustration with certain things. Like there's certain things you can't do or are very difficult. Like I remember once I went to a few castings, but I couldn't see the teleprompter. And there's a light shining in your face doing stand up. You know what I mean? There's just a light in your face is a killer, right? It just throws you sometimes because you forget and you get up and there's lights and it's just like, fuck. So there's certain things that are frustrating for sure, but it's, I just think the way you see her, it's like it's just happened rather than we've got a 4-year period here. So I thought that's a little odd. Just all of that, the way she's talking to her mom, her friend, like, and the excuses that she's using. Oh, well, no one's going to submit the blank. You know what I mean? You'd be like, yo, kid, you would have moved on. You would have moved on. In your mind, because you have to. Otherwise, you're going to go fucking insane. But I think out the gate, like, this isn't a. I forget what it's classed as. I'm assuming this is a thriller, right? I mean, I'd say it's probably a thriller, but yeah, it's a thriller. It's not a it's not like Memento. There's not really a depth or a hidden meanings or anything like that. It's pretty base level, so you kind of guess really the big plot, the big twist straight away. Like with a certain conversation at the beginning, you're like, well, I guess I know who's going to be behind all of this. But I mean, when her mum says, okay, honey, be safe, it's just like whenever someone says, be safe, or, oh, I should have told him I loved him. Whenever someone says something like that in a film, there's going to be issues. You know what I mean? It's a given. But we see her at this house. She's house sitting. It's in the middle of nowhere, which is a big thing. Cell reception, I mean, all of these things. You're like, okay, this is gonna play a part in this. So straight away, certain things go. Well, I mean, I would say just because it's in the synopsis, when she locks herself out the house, that made no sense. That made no sense because we know this isn't her first house sitting gig. She's been doing this, right? So you'd be like, how you wouldn't do that, right? That's just some stupid, and they've seen no real reason why she even left the house anyway. But she's locked out, and yeah, she's called this girl to help her. Well, I will say downloading an app super quick here. I'm like, I don't know what app has downloaded that fast. I mean, where you have to set things up and all of this, right? There's no user checks. There's no, and you think with something like that, there would be, but it's just like big by bog, but we're going, right? Which is just like, okay. But yeah, she's super shitty on the phone. I mean, it's good that we see Kelly push back. You know what I mean? So that's all good. But even after that first interaction, you would then think it would help going forward. But time and time again, we see her do these dumb things, and you're just like, but you wouldn't, because you understand your situation. Like, what the fuck, man? So it's all a little frustrating. And I think 10% on a phone, boy, it lasts a whole lot longer than you've ever seen a 10% ever last on your motherfucking phone. Right. But there's all of this stuff happen. They do try and twist it up. You know what I mean? Just the whole idea of this story and everything like that. But I kind of think that there are problems with, I mean, the portrayal and then just some of the performances, right? So there's these conversations with the police that are so bait. Like, if anyone is talking in the way she's talking to the police are like, oh fuck, send the motherfucking cavalry. Right? That's what you would be thinking, because there is nothing legit about it. It's insane, right? Her conversation, like, then just the robbers, this situation, you'd be like, again, you see through this conversation, you see through it. You're just like, just the cadence, just everything, the way it's delivered. You're just like, yo, what the fuck? I mean, Kim Coates does a great job. Like, his character, at least, there's a little bit more depth in the way he delivers it, and how he speaks with her and changes and switches up and like all of that, right? So that's a bit more believable. But yeah, it's just the way they play it is hard to, it's hard to really believe, you know? They're walking around in a glass, kind of a glass house, right? You're walking around in a glass house. It's pretty, and there's a lot of open plannedness going on in this house, right? So light, you will notice light. And hey, even if lights are off, and especially with lights off, you will see the phone light, right? There's one thing. If you're talking on the speaker, everyone's going to hear that. Everyone's going to hear it. You know what I mean? It's just like, there's no way you can try and hide that. Right? We don't have her at any point go, I need to turn this down. Or it's just like, to do it in this manner, there's no hiding. You know what I mean? There's just no hiding. Like, everyone would see, like, ugh. Now, there is a kind of interesting thing, because, you know, Kelly's a gamer. She plays first person shoot 'ems. We see her do that. Is that POVs? Or first person PPFP, first FPS? I don't know. I don't play these games. I don't play video games, man. I used to, but it was weird. It seemed as the graphics got better, the font on the screen got smaller. Right? It's insane. You'd think, you know, it would have been the other way around. It wasn't. I remember when the PS4, I think the PS4 was coming out, I emailed Sony. I was like, yo, I've got a PS2. No, it wasn't be the PS3, right? I've got a PS3, 2. I've had a PS1. I really like your machines, but I know you got a new machine coming out. I was just wondering, because I've had some issues with, you know, the PS2. Like, is there going to be an option where you could change the font size? And they emailed back going, we won't know any of this until the machine comes out. I was just like, wait, what? How is that a thing, you fucks? You You know what I mean? And yeah, that was me. I was done. I was done with video games. Anyway, that's a tangent, right? So yeah, she's a first person shooter, and we have a scene where, because we have Sophie having to hold a phone, so then Kelly can see through the camera, and so you've got to see she's holding a phone and she's got her arm out, and you can then see like a gun in the hand, so it does look like a first person shooter. You know what I mean? So as a visual, that works. That's kind of slick. Um, you know, I do believe, right? If you don't think about the sight stuff, right? If you don't think about, wait, why would she be walking like that? Why would she be interacting with her surroundings like that? I think you will enjoy this film a whole lot more, right? And that's what I was talking about with the golf thing at the beginning, because I live this shit. I understand this shit. It just straight away, I'm just like, yo, what? You know what I mean? Which then kind of took me out of the film. So I think if you don't have that issue, you will be able to inhabit this film a whole lot more, right? I think you will enjoy it a whole lot more. Like cinematography is kind of decent, but it's essentially just inside the house. Sound, we have this girl listening to some very weird music, like music that you just like, I don't believe she'd listen to that, right? It was an odd one. It was an odd one, but I do think some of the acting is pretty decent. I thought Kelly was very good. I thought Kelly was good. The whole vet thing seemed a weird tag, because it only really gets mentioned towards the very end of the film and doesn't play any part of the film, right? Now, you could have her be good at what she's doing for Sophie because she's a video gamer, right? There doesn't need to be, oh, I was a vet, because they don't do anything with that storyline. It was just like, oh, I served, now I'm on the desk. And that's it. It doesn't go anymore. So I don't know if there was more that got cut, but the way it is given to us, it's a pointless plot point. It's just a pointless plot point, right? And again, Sophie ain't likable. She ain't likable. We see her do a thing, right? Because I think this is the thing. It's like you're showing this girl, and she's as I say, she's a cunt. She ain't nice, but she's doing this thing, and we're meant to be like, oh, we get it, but she's blind. And you're like, no, she's a piece of shit. She's a piece of shit, and the shit she gets away with, you're just like, what the fuck? What the thing? Because when you see the size of the houses, and you'd be like, I mean, and yes, this is a generalization, but you kind of think, hey, money ain't that tough. So, huh? But anyway, people, yeah, I think if you want just something just a little bit crazy that you could just watch and not really have to think about, I think it will work for you. But don't be expecting anything, deep. No, yeah, because you ain't getting it with this. It's a surface level, it's a puddle rather than an ocean. So hey, if you couldn't see it this Thursday, it will be showing on Saturday, the 9th of October at 20 past 3, right? It's at the Odeon Lux West End, which I do believe is the new Odeon Cinema. Well, it's the renovated Odeon Cinema that they've turned into a luxury one in Leicester Square. That's what I think this one is. So yeah, the 9th at 3:20. You can see for me if it sounds like it could be for you. And I would like the plot wise, it's kind of interesting. You know what I mean? It's kind of interesting. You know what I mean? She's using this app, and trust me, hey, I could do it at that brightness. You know what I mean? Hey, I wouldn't get lost going to a foreign country. Yeah, this would be great. But yeah, I don't know, people. I don't know. You watch it, make up your own mind. Let me know what you think. You know what I mean? But yeah, see for me.